Give them a few seconds. Bring them in. Good evening, everybody. This is Mike J. Watt Jr., and we have a special guest on tonight. Give it up for my brother, comedian A-Train.
What's up, brother? Big Mike.
Yes, sir. So I'm so honored, so grateful to have you on the show tonight. This is a history-making podcast for me. I would be where I'm right now without, being connected to you, and that I'm doing right now, it's inspired by what I see you do daily. So we're going to get, man, if you can, just let us know who you are. Who is A-Train?
Well, first I want to say congratulations, man, and thank you for having me on your platform. And now I already know it's going to do everything that it's supposed to do with you being behind it, because everything you touch, man, it prospers. So congratulations on this new endeavor, brother.
I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Man. Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm comedian A-Train, as you said. I'm a young dude with an old soul, man. You know what I'm saying? I love life. I love everybody. I love to laugh. I love live music. And I love good times. And all of that stuff comes out, in my comedy when I'm on stage, and it resonates and connects with people, in the same fashion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, that cousin, that cousin or that family member that, everybody has and can relate to. And no matter what stage, I step on, I kind of get the same feedback from people like, man, you just feel like family. Well, that's me. I'm that family dude, very family oriented, you know what I'm saying? And love to have a good time, brother. So that's who comedian A-Train is.
And you've always been family since day one, man. So I'm honored, man. This is truly an honor. So we're going to get into our first question. What is your greatest accomplishment as of right now?
Ooh, my greatest accomplishment. Well, I would say that's two sides. I have a dual answer for that. One, as a man, being able to take care of my household, take care of my family. You know what I'm saying? So that, I think, is always like that achievement that we strive to make sure that we're checking off as a man. You know what I'm saying? And then as an artist, as a comic, being able to, look at that calendar and you're constantly being booked, because in this game as a gigger, man, you can't hang your hat on what you used to do or what you did back in the day. It's all about what are you doing now, and as a comedian, and then those that I kind of, run with, and their mindset and mentality, it's all about having, dates on the books. You know what I'm saying? You wanna have gigs on the calendar, So as a comedian, man, I think that's an achievement, an accomplishment that I will always esteem to be great, because it's not about what you used to do, brother. It's about what are you doing. So I would have to say that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So is that part two, or that was your part one and two?
That was my part 1 and 2. My part 1 was as a man being able to take care of my family.
Okay.
That's a great achievement.
Okay. No, I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
And
I get it.
And then I moved over to the artist side, or to the comedian side, because you don't want to be talking about, like, yeah, as a comic, man, I'm doing this and doing that, but are you taking care of your family, brother? It's like, as a married man, and the way that this game has appeared to, really be, to many across the world is, there may be a season, you know, of you trying to break through, and you happen to, like, you know, run from couch to couch. And, you know, as a married comedian, you can't do that, brother. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, hey, man, let me hold your couch, you know what I'm saying, until I get on my feet. No, man, I got a wife, you know? So that's why I say I have a dual answer, and I can't get caught up in this thing from one side or one perspective, because I don't have that luxury, you know,
yes,
to just do things as an artist and all of the test of times that come with it. I don't have that luxury, you know, and it's the main reason why a lot of people, you know, they don't stick to the very thing that they love to do, because it's not allowing them the you know, the opportunity to do what they know they have to do, which is take care of their household. So, you know, I'm always conscious of this thing from a dual perspective, you know, most times. And even when it appeared that I'm not as mindful about it in the forefront as I probably should, even in that, I'm still mindful that, you know, I'm not out here by myself and for myself. I got a family to take care of. Yeah, man.
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
So our next question, what is your biggest motivation?
My biggest motivation? That's an interesting question, brother. And before I answer that, let me set it up this way so you'll understand where I'm coming from before I answer that. You know how most times when you hear Hall of Famers, you know, who has played the game, they've retired, and they talk about their motivation. And it's like, how is it that you still have a motivation and you're no longer in the game anymore? And that motivation that they usually speak about is something pertaining to times of old. Meaning like, yeah, man, I grew up watching my mama struggle, and I always said I'm gonna take care of my mama one day. So they played hard. That was their motivation. And even though they're out of the game, it's still a drive for them. And the reason I wanted to put that out there first, preference it that way, is because my motivation that I have is in the same direction. It's in the days of old. And what motivates me is I remember when what I'm doing now was once pillow talk.
Yeah.
Like, and then seeing the achievements and the accomplishments that I've had on my journey, it motivates me for further to let me know that it's going to be all right. Because when I started, I couldn't even foresee like what I'm doing now. And to me, brother, that is like my everyday motivation. When I look around and I realize that what I'm actually doing at one point in time, it was pillow talk between my wife and I. You know, it was just a conversation or a thought, you know, and where we are now, and seeing the blessings that I'm able to walk in and day out, you know, I don't fret about it, because I've already saw the scoreboard with some previous rounds. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And so what motivates me, brother, is understanding that, you know, I've already saw some big W's, you know, in some categories that I even think I was going to be involved with. So that's my motivation, man.
I love that answer. I love that answer.
Yeah. I don't. It's always the. Yeah. So that's it right there, brother.
So how do you handle stress in doing what, as a comedian, as a husband?
I handle stress like we all have handled stress as Black people. We go lay down. You saw your mama, you know what I'm saying? That was our upbringing, you know? Like, I mean, dealing with stress is a luxury, you know? This is no slight to those who struggle with this. you know, my heart goes out tremendously to people in that area. But depression is a luxury, man. You know, like being stressed out. Let me say that, not depression. Let me pull that back in. Not depression. Being stressed out is a luxury, because if you're stressed out, then it means that you have time to unplug. And I don't have the luxury to unplug.
Yeah.
I got a household to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Being stressed out. You know how people say, "Ah, man, I'm sorry. You know, I retaliated this way because I'm stressed out." Well, because I have a village that's depending on me to respond properly in this situation, which I've had some situations where it's like, if I lash out, it'll be understandable, but I can't do it because I don't have that luxury. So being stressed out, man, it's a part of the game. And I'm so grateful that I had a personality that I have, which is, you know, I'm a happy-go-lucky person anyway. You know, I'm always see the bright side of a situation. You know, I always view life half full versus half empty. That is my personality. You know, so a lot of things that I probably could, you know, be stressed about, you know, my wife would tell you that boy, he ain't bothered by that whatsoever, because I keep it moving, you know. And the reason I do that is because, like I say, you know, I don't have that luxury, man. I don't have that luxury. It's too much on the line.
I love it. It's
too much
so much on the line.
Yeah.
And what you do with bringing jokes and laughter, I think you deal with your stress in the delivery of the joke, if you get me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
But a lot of people don't see it that way. But seeing you do it the way you do it, and the different times that I've seen you, I think that's how you make it relatable, and also how you reach people.
Yeah, you know, like I said earlier when you was asking, like, who is A-Train? And that personality type, you know, that I describe, you know, that comes out in my joke delivery and my approach to these jokes. And what happens is there are a lot of people who can relate to it from that perspective. And then those who may not have the ability to relate to it from that perspective, they appreciate the perspective because it allowed them to see it's totally different. So, you know, comedy is like, you know, in my opinion, comedy isn't what we do, it's literally who we are, you know. And you know, like it's literally how I see life, you know, and how I see situations. So when I verbalize it from that perspective, you know, it allows people to come in and join that same element of, you know, of joy, so to speak, you know, even though the situation might have been a very real harsh situation, but then from this perspective, it's like, yeah, that is pretty funny.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, who in the industry to get the opportunity to work with?
Oh man, I've been fortunate to work with some real dope people, man. And being in this game for 10 years now, it has allowed me to create certain levels of appreciation. So my list of folks that I really want to work with, this game has taught me that, you know, it's a beautiful thing to work with people who has a pure heart.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I've seen some comedians, you know, have their list and they run after that based on whatever feelings and emotions or, you know, fan element that they had at one point of time. And then they run saying, yeah, I want to. Then they run into a situation only to come to find out that this person's heart really ain't as pure and not a good person. And, you know, some stuff that's involved. that make that whole experience, you know,
a sour taste,
a dark point in your life. And you know, I've been fortunate to work with people that I've looked up to at one point in time, and some of them I still do. And so having that feather in my hat, you know, I'm beyond that now. Only thing I want to do in this game is work with people who have a pure heart, because I'm gonna tell you, man, not just people, but platforms, you know, where they have your best interests at heart. Because you could be running behind certain platforms and certain people with a fanboy element or fanboy mindset, and that person or that platform end up being your ultimate destruction, where they have robbed you of, you know, being seen, you know, stripped you of, you know, the shine that you know, was supposed to have in that moment. And it's all because, you know, you were in a situation and around some people who didn't have a good heart. So where I operate now in comedy is I I only want to be around people who are good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say I'm really fortunate. You know, folks know, you know, I've done dates with, you know, DL Hughley, Bill Bellamy, you know, Dominique, like all these people are good people, man. You know what I'm saying? Guest spots on Earthquakes platform, and like, these are good people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really not focused on, you know, a name in the spotlight. What I'm focused on is being in an environment and being around a group of people who mean me well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And there's a quote that says, what you're looking for is looking for you. You know what I'm saying? The
yes,
deep calleth unto the deep. You know what I'm saying? The pure hearted, it only see the purity in others. You know what I mean? And that's that connecting element, you know, no matter what your belief system is, you know, what you put out into the universe, it'll come back to you like it. And it's all saying the same message, which is, if you're a good dude, then you're going to attract good people. And then if that's the case, let that be the driving force. Don't you get out of that wheelhouse and be like, oh no, let me put the list together. I wanna work with da 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 da. And they may not be that person that's in harmony with how you're wired and where you need to be in your career and all of that. So I don't stick my hand out the window, brother. I keep my hand and my arms inside the cart while I'm on the
at all times.
Yeah, and I'm trusting, you know, I'm trusting God, of course, ultimately. I'm trusting the seeds that I've sown, you know what I'm saying? I'm trusting my management, and I'm just trusting how most people do in life. We trust that we're going to have a good day today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trusting that. But the problem comes in when we try to get ahead of that, and we're going to try to write that path out. And sometimes, man, you know how you've heard people say all the time, hey, man, just wait. Your time coming, you know?
Yes.
And all of that falls in the same basket of my mindset, you know, about this question about, you know, who in the industry I really want to work with. Like, there's some dope people out there. There's some comedians out there that I love. Like, I really think what they're doing is dope. I think, you know, their brand is dope. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I don't get ahead of myself to be like, yeah, because of that, I want to work with that person.
Yes,
you know, because it may be some intangibles that you may not be aware of.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So what haven't you done still on your to-do list in comedy and in life?
I want to do some I want to get into some screenplays.
Okay.
You know, I want to get on the stage from that perspective. I want to do some acting, you know. Just that whole platform in which my skill set typically falls in. I want to do it all, man. I want to do it all. I'm grateful to have achieved the things that I've achieved as a comedian. Not saying it's better than anybody else, but like for my portion and how I started and what I started with, I'm extremely grateful, man. We've crossed some major barriers. We've trailed some paths. You know what I'm saying? Trailblazed some paths that that some folks have never even heard of. And we did it in a fashion that most really don't achieve with the route that we took. So I'm grateful for that. But yet and still, there's plenty more. There's plenty more that I want to do, and they fall in the category of movies. There are different other platforms like that I have in my heart that want to give light to other comedians and artists. You know what I'm saying, to put them in the spotlight by having them come on my platform to do what I want to do, down the road. So all of those things, brother.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So questions about your upbringing. What's a little insight about your upbringing?
Man, my upbringing was rich. Not in money, not in dollars, but in love, laughter, camaraderie, support system, loyalty, man. My upbringing, I'm straight out the apartments, we drop the A, go straight to the P, apartments, you know what I'm saying? That's how we call it. And the cool part about it is, I was thinking about this the other day, man. We have to be careful. When I say we, I'm saying people, like our community. Be careful. Yes. Be careful with possessing such a consumer or sheep mindset, meaning you're so easily influenced and you just go with whatever's put out before you and you go with whatever wave and that's what the masses are doing and this is what they say to do. Like, be careful, man, to not get caught up in that, because I look at things like not just social media. Social media really mimic what the world, certain elements that the world already possess. Mm-hmm. And like growing up in the hood, man, it was some things that we were taught, just from the mere fact of being in the midst of an environment like that. Yes. There was some village knowledge that you were inundated with. And it was a time where I thought everybody knew this until I got older and started traveling, going around the world and living outside of the environment that I was raised in, that I realized, people don't know this, I just want our people to be careful about, these folks who always got stuff to say, about who they are, what they did, And like even street sense let you know what I'm saying? The wealthy man don't talk about his wealth, No.
No.
The gangster don't talk about, the gangster stories, it's because it's too much involved. There's too much blood on the hands and blood in the streets. And you have to be careful, like, okay, you telling this story, but it's so many lives that's connected to it. And I was raised in an environment like that. And the real OGs back in the day, from my depiction, they're different than the way that I see some people move today. Mm-hmm. Although I grew up in the hood, I've never smoked, I've never drank, you know what I'm saying? I never sold drugs, because while my environment was just saturated with that, mm-hmm. there were people who would be snared by some of the same things that, most people in the hood get snared by, but they'll tell me, hey, you go this way. Don't go the way I will. And that was my life. That's, I'm answering your question. Like, that's how I grew up. That was my upbringing. I had people around me, while their hands might not have been clean, their heart was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part they exposed to me, saying, hey, you gonna be the one that get out of here. You're gonna be the one that won't get caught up how we got caught up. And they supported that and they nurtured that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's why I get so much joy when I tell people around the world, it's like, yeah, you know, I'm born and raised, you know, on Moncrief, you know, I'm from Washington Heights, Kent Knight, you know, and I leave it at that because while it may have been a bright spot and a beautiful village for me, I'm also aware that there's a lot of horror and trauma connected to real lives.
Yes.
That I don't have to fan this propaganda, letting people know, yeah. Hold on, because there's some tears in the streets.
Yeah, you're right.
But
you're right.
I do enough to let folks know that, okay, I can't undo who I am, where I come from, and what I lived in the midst of. But I'm also very adamant about trying to let people know, yeah, I was in the midst of that. And you know what? I don't have a criminal record. And you know what? I've never smoked or never drank. And I'm trying to change that narrative that people usually have about those of us who was raised, you know, in the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
Because while the other things that you're pointing at, those negatives, they may be very true, but guess what is also true? The fact that we also produced folks who had extremely great morals. You know, hey man, you know, I grew up and seeing cats like, hey, turn that music down. Why? Because Miss Jenkins walking by. Oh, okay. Hey man, put that beer down. Why? Because Miss Mary is about to come down the street. Hey, don't cuss in front of her. Hey, put your beer up, man. Hey, yes, ma'am. How you doing, ma'am? And that's how it was. You drive past a church, you listen to some music that's not gospel music, they'll turn their radio down. We're talking about real street people.
Yeah.
They'll turn their radio down. So that's what I grew up around. You know what I mean? So
yes, sir.
There's things in this world and on social media that get played out today, and it leaves me confused. I'm like, y'all know the emptiest wagon makes the most noise. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Y'all know the loudest one is usually the scared. Y'all don't know that?
Yeah.
But they buy into it, you know.
Yeah.
And but that's my world. That's that's how I was raised, man. And even with that, you know, as I literally travel around the world, I realized that so many great values were instilled in me as a kid, growing up in the apartments, that when I distribute them on stage, I'm surprised at how it connects with folks around the world from a positive perspective. You know, when you talk about nothing negative, we're talking about good, wholesome values that transcends gender, you know, race, creed, religion. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody is laughing together, man. And I'm telling you, you know, it's a beautiful thing to be able to, you know, be in this lane of comedy and take all of your struggles, all of your mishaps, life experiences, you know, and sometimes the experiences of your family members, you know. Because I tell my story on stage, and a lot of my stories, they involve some of my family as well, you know. And it's awesome to see how, you know, it's able to like pull and unite people in, and at the end of the night we walk away saying, man, that's funny, I had a good time. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, sir. So
that's me. That's my family dynamic, and that's how, you know, I was raised and where I come from.
I wanted to bring up your mom for a second. I just wanted for you to share on who your mom was to you.
Oh man, my mom was everything, brother, and more. I was in every sense of the word a mama's boy. You know, And you know, my wife will tell you that. Anybody who knew me, they'll tell you that. Anybody that knew, listen, my brother, I heard my brother say one time. He said, "Listen, the whole family know who Mama's favorite was. You know, it ain't no secret. Like I love my mama, and my mama loved me. You know, and my siblings knew it too. And I was fortunate enough to know to receive the same love from my siblings as well, because I'm the baby of 7 on my mom's side, and my sisters and my brothers, they love me dearly, just like I love them. And but my mama, she was strong. You know, she was the mother to the entire neighborhood. She was that person. Our household was the community center for the whole neighborhood because of my mom. You know what I'm saying? Our this is the God honest truth. We lived in the hood, and I can honestly tell you, I don't ever remember our doors being locked. Sometimes the front door and the back door be open, and we go to bed. You know, this is in the hood because my mom was the mama to everybody. You know, she was that woman that woke up on Saturday mornings and cooked a big breakfast and had me to go around knocking on doors like, hey, tell such and such, let them babies come around here and get some hot grits, get some hot breakfast. You know, she would go and rent a washing machine, because in the hood, you know, we didn't have washers and dryers. You had to go to the laundromat. Well, if you go to the laundromat, you got to pay for them cycles. Well, my mama knew, you know, people didn't have the money. So what she would do, she would rent a wash machine. She would rent like about 2 wash machines, you know, from like a little rental place. And she'll set them up in the kitchen. And she'll just run loads, you know. Hey, go tell such and such, bring them. They got a couple of loads. Let them know I got this for the, you know, next 2 days. And she would do this and not charge them, but just, she was that type of person, man. You know, she went back to school, man, got her degrees. I said degrees because she went back, you know, she started from the bottom and went all the way to the top. Went back to school, got her GED, left that, got her associates, left that, got her, you know, bachelor's, then got her master's, and did, you know, and the top of her class. She did this, raising all of us. She went back to school, got her degree, and moved us out of the hood, man, and you know, and changed our lives. So that's who my mama was, brother.
Thank you for sharing that. If you could now give us a little bit about Tracy.
Tracy, my wife, my baby.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Next month gonna be 25 years, man, of us being
married. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Crazy. It's so crazy. Awesome. I promise to God, it only feels like it's probably been like, even though we've been together for 26 years. Next month we'll be married for 25. And my hand to God, it really feels like we've only been together probably like 10 years. Like it, and I'm saying 10 to kind of like make it believable, but it don't feel like 26 years, man. It really don't, you know. That's my baby. She believed in me more than I believe in myself at times. And I'm doing comedy because of her. You know, she has always motivated me and pushed me in that direction. Even when we first met, you know, one of the things she said to me, and I remember like it was yesterday, she was like, you ever thought about doing comedy? You need to be doing comedy. You need to be doing stand-up comedy. And I was like, at first I was like, what is that? Number one. And then I was like, and she's explained it to me and describing it to me, you know, talking about different reference points and some stuff that was, you know, like in the forefront of the world at that time. It's like, you know, you could be doing the same thing. And I was like, nah, you know, and being connected to some people, again, like I'm telling you, you know, pure-hearted folks, man.
Yes, sir.
I value it. I was connected to some folks at the time that really had major influence in my life. And I ran it by them about what Tracy is saying. Because at this time, we're not even married. I don't know if we was dating at the time or not, but or just hanging out. Like this is just somebody, and I'm cool with. We chop it up, and like, and I ran what Tracy said by these people who has influence in my life, and they shot it down, brother. And when I saw them shoot it down, I shot it down. And Tracy was convinced, like, okay, they tripping. And you tripping as well if you're going to let them tell you not to do this.
Yes. Yes.
And it wasn't until about 10 years later, what I'm saying, that I was doing some stuff and started gravitating toward it, hosting some little shows or something. And, and then she just kind of got behind that ball and, start doing what a good wife does, which is if you take one step, they're going to take three, and to support you, and she was basically in a position of not allowing me to hem and hum about it. She started running with it. She signed me up in this competition, that I was like, nah, that's it. Man, I looked up, Tracy was like, yeah, they go the guy, it's going to be, I'm like, what? You did what? So, but yeah, that's my baby, man. And so not only is she's the wife, but she manages and does my booking as well, and my imaging. When I got started, people was like, man, what company, what I remember a guy asked me what agency I was using, and I told him, I said, man, my wife, it's like she did all that, she created the websites and the imaging, the photo shoot, the brand, she did all that on her own, and
Black excellence. Excellence.
Yes. And I used to be a little, I ain't gonna say scared, but I had precautions because I was letting her know, it's like, babe, the way you got me looking on paper, I'm not there as a comic yet. Hold on.
It was prepping you. It was prepping you, though. It was
the way
prepping
you got me looking on this CD cover, look like I can bring it, But and I was like, give me time to catch up skill-wise with this sophistication that you got on paper right now. Because I look like I've been out here for a while. And when truth be told, I had only been out there a couple of moons. So it's like, hey man, but that's my baby, man. She supports me, man. And what I love about it is the people in the game, they don't just embrace me, but they embrace her with the same level of love, respect, and just gratitude. I could walk in the green room and first thing comics say is, where Tracy at? And that's a beautiful thing, man. So I'm happy to have her along with me, on this journey, because I definitely wouldn't be able to do any of this without her. So she's my greatest supporter, and she is my biggest critic. I ain't gonna say biggest. She is my most consistent critic, because ain't no days off when it comes to her, because she sees what's in me and what I could be doing and what I should be doing, and she don't let me slack, in that area. So
yes, sir. So yeah, I wanted to switch lanes for a second. So I want you to enlighten us on the journey of meeting your biological father.
Oh man. First of all, shout out to the wifey again. She was involved behind the scenes on that as well. From the concept of, hearing and seeing me for years talk about some stuff and feel a certain way about certain things. And as a wife, she's always had, I really want you to find your father, your biological father. So just for the sake of time, how can I just sum all of this up? So I'm 45 years old, and I'm just meeting my biological father during the pandemic too. So this is 2020.
Yes.
I did the DNA ancestry thing that my wife and my oldest brother was behind and initiating, and got that ball rolling for me. with some other mishaps that I've had throughout the years that I don't have time to get into. But long story short, I found my dad, man. I found my biological father, and it was so weird looking at this man, seeing myself, like the way he moved, the way he walked, his thumbs, his fingers, his goatee, and it's like, man, this is me. Like this is my first time ever seeing that, And then to top it all off, he has a heart of gold. Everybody that talks about him talk about how sweet of a man he is, and how a good person he is, and I'm just blessed and privileged to be able to have that conversation of that element of wholeness, of knowing who my father was and getting a chance to meet him, spend time with him, and receive the things that he want to pour, into me as a son. And it feels good to be on the side of life that represents wholeness. Like, you should know who your parents are. Like, some people don't, and that's a very big hole in their heart. And it's like, some people take it for granted, but I've been on the other side of seeing what it was like not to have that, and
yes, sir.
And now that I do, it's it feels good.
Awesome.
Good. Yeah.
I'm just going to give you one last question. If you could encourage someone that's currently looking to get into comedy or currently looking to just win at life, how would you encourage someone?
Wow. Okay, that's a heavy question there, brother. Two sides. I answer two parts for you. The first part is I would encourage them to just reverse engineer this thing, meaning start at the end and work your way back. Envision where you want to end up in your career. Envision what you think and see will sustain the livelihood that you have in mind. And then from there, reverse engineer and just start working your way back to, where you are. And I say that simply because I see some comedians or some aspiring comedians, they step out and then they start embracing this campaign of talking about all the woes and the heartaches and the bitterness and the darkness and the disappointments and the letdowns, when what you're describing isn't an issue of it not being a reality, but what they fail to realize is the only reason that's a reality is because that's the lane that you chose. Every lane has a different group of realities.
You're right.
But if your scope didn't rise above that, guess what? All that ism and the schism and all that you're talking about, because there's some comedians, they have, like, that's not their story. All because they're in a different lane and they decided to shoot higher. If you're talking about, if I hear you complaining and you complain about worms, ants, spiders, I don't know, crickets, that let me know what level you're thriving on. Because all that's down, the snakes, all that's down on a certain level. There's a certain platform, there's a certain plateau, like there's a certain level and elevation. Snakes can't, they're not up there.
You're right.
Now, that's not to say you won't have other issues, but their level of complaint is something totally different. It's air thin up here. That let me know where they at.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I hear a lot of comedians complain about things, and to me, it's an easy fix. If you do something to get yourself out of that level, then you won't have to deal with these flies.
You're right. You're right. You're so right.
You know, I work on cruise ships a lot. And sometimes we be out to sea, man. And my wife and I was talking about this the other day. Baby and I was talking about this. We saw this movie, the movie Nowhere. And it got to the part where the lady saw a pigeon, not a pigeon, but a seagull. And she was like, oh my God, there's a seagull. You know what that means. Land must be near, you know? That's the assumption. And I apologize for those who haven't seen the movie. I may be spoiling a little element of it, but you'll be all right.
Be all right. They'll be all right.
So when we saw this lady say that in the movie, me and baby looked at each other like, nah, that ain't necessarily true. Because we've been out to sea so many times and so far out to sea that sometimes you'll see birds, they just sitting on the water. There are viral videos out there right now where people on boats have like rescued a bird, like picked them up and just sit them on the boat, and the bird ain't trying to fight them because they know they are exhausted. They have gone somewhere and they can't go any further, and there's no land around whatsoever. And they're just sitting there and they depleted. And these people take these birds back to shore. So my point is, like, when you've operated in something for a certain period of time, you see different elements of, of how to move and so when I have young cats who are aspiring to be in comedy, I let them know straight up. All right, I ask them right off the bat. I say, so where do you see yourself, in comedy? Like, what's your vision? What's your scope? I said, okay, then from there, you need to start doing everything that will get you there. Because a lot of times, these comedians or aspiring comedians, they have one destination in mind, but the applications that they're applying, that's not going to get you nowhere near what you have in your heart to possess one day. And there's a mismatch. So my thing is, if you want to, I heard a comedian say one time, he was like, hey, being a struggling artist is a choice. And I thought about that. Like, what, he'd be right.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be a struggling artist.
Nope, you do not.
You can decide to be one. All of this, you're going to have struggles. You're going to have challenges, shall I say. But even with that, you have to find out where do you want to struggle? Where are you willing to get, this challenge? My wife and I used to tease all the time, like 20 plus years ago. It's like $20 is $20. You can take that $20 and go to Crystal's, or you can take that $20 and go to a nice restaurant and just order appetizer and a glass of water. But it's up to you to decide what you want your surroundings to be.
You're right.
So, a lot of griping, can be handled simply by you applying yourself differently so that you can get different results.
Awesome. All right, my brother. So where can people follow you? I have your website on the bottom screen, but where can people find you?
They can always follow me on my social media, man. My Instagram is Comedian A Train. All one word, of course, no hyphen. Comedian A Train on Instagram. I'm Comedian A Train on Facebook. That's Comedian A Train on Facebook. And my Twitter is A Train Live. And of course, my website, as you put up here, is awesome because I always post my dates on all my platforms, especially my social media. So if I'm in a city or on a cruise ship, you know what I'm saying, that you're on, definitely come out and rock with your boy. So if you're in Atlanta, I'm getting ready to hit Atlanta real heavy this month. On the 10th, I'm in October 10th. I am in Snellville, Georgia, at Tuckabee Tuesdays, at the Humidor Lounge. Wednesday, October 11th, I'm at Conyers, Georgia.
Nice.
On the 15th of October, I'm at Uptown Comedy Club, the brunch show. That's going to be really nice. I always love rocking out with them. And then November, from November 18th until January 6th, I'm out on MSC Cruise Line between Seascape and Magnifica. So
nice.
Rock with me, man. I always post my dates on there, so you never know when I'm in the city near you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, my brother,
thank you, man, for having me on your show, man. This is nice of you, brother.
I greatly appreciate you taking the time out to do it. Thank Ms. Tracy as well, and definitely got some more things coming up we can definitely talk about. But everybody, I want you to give it up for my brother, my friend, my favorite comedian.
Before we really get out of here, and this ain't gonna take long, but I want everybody to know that Mike Watt Jr. has been like one of my ultimate supporters. From I call it day one, but it was before the time frame when a lot of people knew about me. Mike has always been there and supported me in any way he can. So I appreciate him, and it's not just him, but it's him and his entire camp over there. You know what I'm saying? Anything that he can do for the A-Train, platform, he has always done it. Whether it was connecting me with people and they're putting me on their talk shows around the world, whether it's him sharing a post, supporting my shows in the city, or telling folks about it. And I just want folks to know, man, that this right here, this brother will always have a special place in our heart. When I say our, I'm talking about A-Train Productions platform. It'll have a special place in our heart simply for the way that he has always, for years, always supported us in whatever we decide to put our hands to do. So I appreciate you, brother, and I
appreciate you as well, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Give my brother. And this is the end of In Your Reach podcast, where laughter is in your reach. So again, thank you, my brother. This has been a blessing, and I'm going to upload the audio probably between today and Saturday. So I'll send you the link to that.
Sounds good, man.
That's all right, my brother. God bless you. Love you guys, and you guys have a great night.
Absolutely.
All right.